Hey, you're hanging out in the Link Up Lounge. I'm Tiffany Mason.
And I'm Donna Ruppel. Around here, we believe success isn't just about what you know, it's about who you link up with. This is your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities.
Donna, it blows my mind that the two of us have over 30 years of combined networking experience.
I know! We've built businesses, expanded networks, and created unstoppable momentum, all through the power of strategic connections.
AKA networking. And now we're here to guide you to do the same, starting today.
So let's dive in, connect, and start making moves you didn't even know were possible. Welcome back to the Link Up Lounge. I'm Donna Ruppel, your Nocatee real estate expert, and I'm here with my co-host, Tiffany Mason of Virtually You, the boutique podcast management agency.
This is your space to turn one link into endless opportunities. And today, this episode is proof that one connection can really change everything.
One link, one relationship can open doors you didn't even know existed.
Yep, whether it's a referral, a collaborator, or someone who simply sees your potential, the right connection at the right time can completely shift your business. Today, we're sharing real examples of how simple conversations led to massive growth and how it can for you too. So I'm going to take the liberty of going first. And the most impactful connection in my business started with a casual introduction in a networking group. So somebody invited me to be a part of a networking group. I was part of that networking group. I may have shared this before. I originally launched a business called Everyday Errands, where I was going to be doing concierge services for people in my local area. I launched that in February of 2020. And Donna, what happened in March of 2020?
Yeah, right? Everybody knows the world shut down.
That's right. The world shut down and nobody wanted me running any errands for them.
There was nobody open to run errands too.
Right? It's true. Okay, so I had some light VA services at the time, and I had a friend say, okay, just start to focus on your VA services, which I did. And at the time, I was taking this whole course that led to me opening Virtually You. And then I started Virtually You, and I was in this networking group the whole time. And once I'd gotten really clear on my vision, I had somebody who was continually bringing me up in rooms that I wasn't in, continually introducing me to people that I was like, oh my gosh, why does she keep introducing me to these people? And I don't know, but I think if it had not been for her and her belief in me, I don't know if I would have succeeded as quickly as I did with Virtually You or had the belief in myself to continue with Virtually You. So sometimes we make these connections and it really does change everything. I mean, just having her believe in me before I believed in myself was such a game changer for me that I would really encourage, you just don't know who you're going to meet where and who knows who and who might believe in you before you believe in yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's so good. Mine is kind of similar. Of course, I'm going to say that it started with a networking event. Back in that 2020 timeframe, I was fairly new to Florida. We had moved here a couple years before, but I didn't feel like I really had a good foundation of a, circle of influence or certainly like a network. So prior to that COVID shutdown, I was looking for some sort of local networking group to join. And I didn't want to spend, arm and a leg to join one. And so it was really hard to find one.
BNI.
It was hard to find one that matched my budget and my time constraints, right? Well, roll into 2020, of course, and we know what happened then. And I remember...
Well, can I interrupt you really quick?
Yeah.
We had met right before COVID. We had met in a Bunko group. So you and I had kind of had a little friendship, nothing what it is now, but we knew of each other. And definitely if we saw each other in the grocery store or something, we would have said hi.
Right.
So I think that that's kind of important backstory to, we had this Bunko group, COVID shut it down, and then maybe you want to take it from there.
Yeah. And then obviously at that point in time, I was scrambling for some sort of virtual networking that was still going to happen because the world was shifting, the way people work their business was shifting. So Tiffany, you invited me to your networking group as a guest. Yeah. And I remember my first response was my business category isn't open because it was a business category specific style group. And let's be real, realtor is never open, right? So I was like, I'm not sure my business category is open. And you said it doesn't matter to be a guest, but
Right.
come check us out. And so I was like, okay. I mean, at that point in time, finding any kind of networking opportunity was really what I was
Right.
going for. And so I remember I jumped on that meeting. And of course, I liked what I saw. It was efficient. It was a lot of connections. I think there was like 20 people on there, which is great.
Yeah.
And so I liked it. And ultimately, of course, my business category wasn't available in that group, but the leader of that organization offered me, another opportunity, which was basically me starting a group. And they said I had to find a co-leader. And so of course I thought of you, right? And so you kind of took
Ta-da!
a leap of faith and left that big established group to go with me to start our own group and build it from the ground up. And through that whole process, we learned so much about not only each other, but networking, who we wanted, how we were going to make this such a strong and capable networking group. And of course, fast forward a year or two later, we opened Bond and Beyond Network,
Yes.
which is our, little baby. And that we took every component of everything that we loved about networking groups we'd been in the past and made that sort of a dream come true. And through that whole process, the people that I have met, the connections that I have made in this area, in this local area, and really beyond, has completely changed my business and made it so much more seamless. I feel like, a lot of people in my industry, when you talk to them about, where are you getting your leads from? They talk about all these different things. And what I'm always looking for is, are you networking? Because I mean,
Yeah.
that know, like, and trust factor is so huge when you're talking about any kind of business, but also when you're talking about real estate. I mean, people want somebody that they're going to know, like, and trust, right? So I think networking is such an important component of any business that is the one thing I'm always asking people, like, what are you doing for networking? So had you not invited me to be a guest, despite the fact that I said my business category wasn't open, and encouraged me to go up, I mean, think of, we wouldn't be where we are today based on that, and
I
that
know.
was a huge game changer, not only for Bond and Beyond Network and ultimately the Link Up Lounge too, but
Yeah.
also just for my real estate business. It was a great way to really kind of bust into the market here and really, really expand the circle of influence, the know, like, and trust factor amongst the community. It was a big game changer for me.
Well, I think how interesting that is, right? We're talking about how one connection can make such a difference. And so for me, one connection meant my business growing, thriving, succeeding. And for you, it meant, well, and for me indirectly, for your story, it gave us a networking group of our own. It gave us connections that we would have never had in the first place. And this awesome podcast. Like, really,
Right?
you guys, you just never know where one connection will take you. And you know what I've learned about my connections? It's not always about these big numbers. It's about meaningful conversations. I mean, we've said it before, but it's
Yes.
quality over quantity. And it's like I talk to my clients about like their downloads, and I think that the outside point of view is that everybody who's a podcaster has, 6 million downloads per episode. You become wildly famous and make a gajillion dollars all through the ease of podcasting. And once
Yes.
you start to realize like, it might be a different story. So I will have podcasters that start out and they get maybe, 30 downloads on that first episode or their fourth episode, whatever. And I always have to look at them, they're disappointed because it's not the same as social media numbers, but I have to look at them and say, what would you give for a room with 20 to 30 people who have chosen to come and listen just to you and your message and what you're teaching? And it's the same thing, like how valuable is it to have those 5 people speaking your name in rooms that you are not in, opposed to who cares if you know 600 people? If none
Right.
of them are talking about you, who cares? Had
Right.
we not made the connection, had you not trusted me to try out that group, and then our friendship grew, and then we said, you know what, I see in you, what we both can build this networking group, and then going, you know what, you'd be a great co-host. Let's go ahead and start a podcast. Those things would have just never come from that. But it's really getting to know somebody and making a good connection, and then your name comes up.
Yeah, I think that during that COVID time when everybody had to go online, there was so much focus on building your social media network and
Mm,
building social media followers and that you're going to do your business on social media, which it was at that point in time. That was really the only way to be seen. But now that we've come out of that time, I would say since 2023, maybe, I feel like people are slower to get back to the face-to-face building relationships concept. And just kind of what you said about, the downloads not being the same in a podcast, but you have 30 people that have chose to listen to you instead of
Mm-hmm.
having, 5,000 people on your social media that maybe they aren't looking at anything you're posting. They're just scrolling by it in 5 seconds,
Right.
And I think that the shift is coming. I think it's slower, but the shift is coming slowly. And social media obviously still has to remain a component, but I don't think it is nearly as important as it used to be during that short period of time where we were all shut inside. And we need to get back to the focus on in-person relationship building, know, like, and trust factor through, collaborations and communications and all of those things, real true connection. I think that's the slower part of this process, getting back to that, because prior to COVID, we had that. And I think we all took it for granted and went to the social media focus. And now I think coming back to a more balanced approach is super important.
Well, and I guess this is a little bit more geared towards women, but first of all, I'll say a general statement that studies are showing, right? America, maybe everybody, they're just lonely. We're all in our bubble. We're all online. We're all virtual. I mean, like you said, everyone's kind of slowly coming out of that. The reason we're coming out of it is because everybody's going, wait a minute, like I need to see people. Like I'm lonely. I sit at home, I edit all these podcasts. And then when I get to see my friends, I'm like I have so much to say because I'm so excited to see the person, right? And I think that there's a podcast I edit and she's always talking about how women love to be in community. There's nothing more fun for us as women, I think, than, and I don't want to leave any men out. I'm sure the men love to share, tips about drills or the best drywall or some awesome lawnmower or something. But I think as women, we're really trying to help each other. First of all, we know the cognitive load and we know the home responsibilities. And so we're like, oh my gosh, anything to help another woman balance it all. But also we just love being in community. And that's what she talks about all the time on her podcast is this platform that she has where people can share tips and success stories. And, you never know who you're going to find in those groups that will support you and cheer you on. And I think that that's what it is when it comes to meeting in person, right? We've developed these friendships. We're in community. We're not feeling lonely. They're fun little things to get out to. And I don't know about you guys, but I like getting dressed up for my girls. Like I get dressed up for my husband and it's like, okay, we're going to go to dinner, but I get dressed up for my girls and y'all are like, ooh, I love those earrings. Oh, cute shoes. Oh, you look great today or whatever.
I know.
And it's very rewarding.
That is funny.
So there is. Yeah, there's something to be said about just meeting in person. And I think we do need to get back to that just from a mental capacity, but also just women. We love community and we love being with one another. And, like I said, just sharing tips and tricks about life and, of course, business. I think that's one of the funnest things, too, is our group is diverse in age. So we may know something about, I don't know, really kind of relationships. I feel like the older you get, the more grace you have for people. And you can kind of explain that concept to younger people who may not be as tolerant, but also the younger people, maybe they know platforms that we don't know, or they know of apps that we don't know about. And so there's a lot of sharing of tools that could make your business a little bit easier. So, you just never know who you're going to connect with and what they know, who they can connect you with and what they can teach you.
Yeah. I mean, you truly never know who someone knows. So stay open, be helpful. We talk about that a lot, but when you're helpful, other people want to help you. And so, another personal story side note here is through the relationships that I have built in our networking group. My oldest son just graduated from college and is on the struggle bus with this job market and trying to find a job.
Yes.
And, a couple people in our networking group have on conversations, I've mentioned, oh yeah, he's home and he's looking for a job. Oh, what's his major in? Oh, well, I know so-and-so, or, somebody over here knows somebody in that industry. Do you want me to try and make a connection? And I'm like, absolutely. So from my relationships in our networking group, my son has gotten, a few people that have really connected him to, industries within what he's looking for. And that wouldn't have happened had I not been, more of a servant mindset to those people, because I didn't ask for their help. They volunteered because they want to help, because I want to help them. And they know that know, like, and trust factor is already there. And I can't wait to be able to tie that little story up with a bow, in that he got a job based on some connection in my networking group. I mean, that would be awesome.
It's coming.
Yeah, it is coming.
Well,
right?
And I have to imagine. Yeah.
Stay tuned for the later episode.
That was not your first conversation with them, right? So,
oh no,
we all have to get past that first conversation, right? Like, you say, okay, I know, like, in our group, we call it a collaboration. You have your first collaboration where you're really just learning about each other's businesses. But once you've networked consistently and effectively and really cared about the other person and actually learned about their business, that's an opportunity where, let's say that you were asking for help, right? And then you could say, okay, I've learned enough about this person's business and this person's business to know that they may have opportunities for my son. Maybe I could reach out to them. But because you've built that relationship, now they're willing to help you. And same can be said with them offering their help, because you guys have had more than one collaboration, right? I feel like it's so important that we don't just make the one meeting. Okay, I know about your business. Okay, now let's move on. No. Let's continue to collaborate and continue to grow that relationship and deepen that relationship and learn about the other person's business and what good referrals are for them, so that you can continue to give into their business, continue to pour into their business, and that will come back to you. To you. Okay, so I just would love to share one more example of just an awesome connection. Speaking of, you don't know who knows who. Okay, so we have these Facebook groups in our local area, and people are constantly asking for service providers of different types. And one service provider that I use all the time is this lady who makes shirts. I love getting these one-off shirts that say things on them, right? So I don't know, I had used her for 2 or 3 years. And then this lady was looking for a podcast editor. And she tagged me in it and she said, "Isn't this what you do?" And I was like, yeah, of course, So I reach out to the lady and I say, "Yes, I'd love to have a connection or a meeting." And so we meet virtually. I talked to her and her team. At this time, this was my biggest potential account. I couldn't even believe it. We were talking about big numbers that I had not contemplated for my business yet. So we're going through and I'm trying to play it cool. They hire me. And then I think it was about a year later, that summer, I lost 3 or 4 clients because of this one connection. And it was a big enough account. It kept me afloat until I got more clients to build back up my clientele. Had I not had that one connection, had I not poured into other person's service and taken advantage of it and made a friendship with them and been kind and friendly, they would have never thought to refer me. Gosh, it's just, there's gold in making connections with just everyone. And I know my husband has told me before, sometimes we ask our husbands or spouses these questions like, what do you think is cool about me? Or what's a quality that I possess that you appreciate, or something? I do anyway. And I remember one time him saying to me, the ability to talk to anyone. He's like, "I just can't do that. You just have an ability. You will just talk to anyone." And it's true. I find all people very interesting. So just invest in people.
Yeah, I do believe, and we've said this on probably maybe every episode, but the more that you give, the more that you truly try to connect without any agenda, the more that's going to build that know, like, and trust with somebody else. And the more they're going to want to give back to you in your business. And, after you start having those initial collaborations with people, that you're staying open, you're being helpful, you're trying to get to know them, you're following up. Because, like you said, the game-changing moment isn't the first chat. It's not going to be your first collaboration. It's going to be after your second or your third, but you're going to continue to foster and build that relationship. You're going to stay visible. You're going to stay connected. And, through that is where the game-changing moment is going to happen, or, the connection is really going to spark something new. It's not going to be the instant thing, which is why we've talked in the past. This is a long game. Networking is a long game. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Well, and just like you may come to them with like these amazing collaboration ideas of how to expose each other's businesses to your networks, they may come to you with some kind of amazing idea to grow your business that you had never thought of. So, it really does pay to keep yourself open.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the best ideas are somebody else coming saying, hey, have you ever tried this? Or would you be interested in this collaboration? I'm like, I never thought of that. I don't think that I'm a super creative person. So to me, when somebody comes up with a creative idea that can promote both of us, I'm game, But that is the other perk of people thinking about how can we work together? And when everybody starts thinking like that, I mean, people become unstoppable, really.
Well, I think one thing that comes to mind that you did, Donna, is we have a nutrition coach in our group, and you had been following this trend on TikTok or Instagram or something where people were making these meals, individual meals.
Yes.
And it was a great idea that you were able to bring to her because you knew her business well enough and you knew her personality. And is this something that person would want to execute? So you were able to say, hey, this is a trend I'm noticing. I think that you should come up with this, program, and you could offer it. And it was going right into the holidays where we would want to be gifting people things like that. And so it was a great opportunity for her business. You got nothing from it other than the satisfaction of helping to give her an idea. But had you guys not collaborated, not known about each other's businesses, would that have come to fruition? I don't know.
Yeah. 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 I mean, so many times I think when I see my friends and my co-networking buddies on social media, I'm like, oh, they should do this. Oh, this is such a good idea, because we have fostered that relationship to the point where I want each and every one of them to succeed. And again, that doesn't come from the first month you're in a networking group or the first, meeting. Okay. That comes from, these women that are in our group currently. I mean, most of them have been with us for at least a year at this point.
Yeah.
And so, it's about this time where you start to really go beyond just what they do in business and how to grow business, but really get to know the people behind the business, which is like a whole nother layer of, fun and enjoyment that you get out of growing the relationship from a business networking standpoint into a friendship. That's why sometimes we talk about, oh, when we're going in this room, how many friends are we going to make today? We don't mean literally that day. We mean how many people are we going to meet that we're going to have the opportunity to grow into a friendship through a business connection.
I agree. Okay, Donna, are you ready? It's time to flip the switch. Networking mode on. Make it a habit to ask one question at the end of every great conversation. This is one I actually learned at another networking event that I had gone to, but it's who else should I meet? We all know all these people and we're talking about you never know who knows who. So the end of our introduction to somebody should be you learn about who they are and what they do. And then you say, do you know anybody else that I should know? I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. You're already at a networking event. It's simple, it's powerful, and it opens doors to unexpected, high trust referral that can lead to your next big opportunity.
So if you're loving these tips and conversations, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And hey, if you know someone who needs to hear this, go ahead and send it their way. Let's keep building those powerful links together. You've been hanging out in the Link Up Lounge, your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities.
Now it's your turn. Go make a powerful link today.
Networking mode on.